here we go. Does Diaz slot into the right if Salah leaves?
This is gonna get old really fast. Let me just say that.
It's a lot more this year. More importantly, I mean, I think, if Mo leaves, I think that's a conversation. But John, does it make it a conversation of us being willing to part ways with Diaz a bit easier, perhaps?
Yes, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards in terms of Gakpo's form towards the end of last season. Granted, we didn't finish the season well, but he was one of those bright spots that kind of made us have something to look forward to, right? Because, oh, hey, he's actually playing his natural position. Who would have thought his performances would have actually gone, towards the upside? And listen, with Diaz, and I kind of wrote about this, shameless plug, right? I wrote about this on the website that Diaz's numbers last year didn't exactly light the world on fire. I think 13 goals, 5 assists, and over 51 appearances. Like, let's be real, guys. The benchmark was always Mane, and that's not even 30% of prime Mane, right? And in Klopp's system, when we won things, Mane was scoring 20 or almost 20 in the league alone, and Diaz scored 13 in all comps. So call me a statist or whatever, basing everything solely on numbers. I watched every Liverpool game, so I know Diaz is, unfortunately, like, he has his moments, but he's not good enough. So maybe we do need a shift in terms of who we're going to be playing there. And Gakpo being 25, Diaz being 27, turning 28, he still has those 2 years before his prime to improve himself as a player. So it's a no-brainer for me. Like, when you ask Gordo, like, it's going to be a conversation. It's not really a conversation, Tim, because I feel like Gakpo has that left wing spot nailed on next year.
Here's the article he's referring to, by the way. Left wing things, the shameless plug. That's a good plug. Good thing you brought that up. Because I don't know. See, I don't know if I'm sold on that. Mainly because of the point that I think Sir Z was making. Because you would think, I mean, what is Diaz, like mid-20s, right?
27, 28.
27. So he's approaching prime. Well, the old prime, I think the prime has changed over the years, but normally what you would consider prime. And wouldn't it be kind of like a better option in some ways to keep him and slide him to the right? We kind of talked about this a bit on Monday too. We keep talking about center back, defensive midfield. The center back, we need a number 6, which I'm going to get to. Ando says we need a number 6 too. But is it... You look at this front four, there's a lot of question marks that, maybe the other stuff takes priority, Gordo, and we don't look at it. But Jota is hurt again in the Portuguese flopping drill at practice. And then, so he can't be relied on. You don't know what's going to happen with Mo. Nunez loves to take shots, so we're going to get to that and make one of 11, and he's totally cool with that. So should we actually not even consider like parting with Diaz just because of the situation we're in? Because that means you're gonna have to bring in 1 or 2 new bodies.
It's the evil we know versus the evil we don't know, right? And yeah, there is something more comforting of like knowing exactly what I'm going to get from Diaz, because his numbers aren't great. And I agree with John there, but like, there's so many people that back Nunez because of effort and then shit on Diaz at the same time. And it's like,
yes, that's fair.
I felt like Diaz provided more dangerous, circumstances than Nunez did for the entire year. And also, carried that line. There was a point in time when I think we played him every minute of like 6 or 7 games in a row. And somehow, even in the 89th minute of the 5th game, he was still making that lung-busting run. And he's not afraid to go at people, which I love that. That's one of my favorite things in a player, because I don't think we see that so much anymore. I think the game has kind of evolved where there's so much talent on the wings that you can distribute the ball across field, and you're looking for lines through the middle. And we kind of – I kind of grew up in an era like when I was – learning how to play the game of the wingers being the guys that went directly at players and created chances. And he reminds me of like that old bastion. So I like Diaz. of course, I would like to see him score more and assist more, because sometimes I feel like those situations get him into cul-de-sacs and he just loses the ball.
Yeah.
But there's just one little tweak that he could do and change his game completely, because I think he has all the hallmarks of a good winger.
Excuse me.
It's just he's never going to be at Mane's level at this point.
And I think it really depends on the kind of winger we want too. But I mean, that's the thing. Since you made the case, I'll go at you, John, for the Diaz thing. I think I agree slightly with Gordo, because there were so many games where we said anything that's being created or happening is coming from Diaz's side, or what Diaz is doing. I mean, you could say that's partially because there's so much attention being paid to Mo, like to stop Mo and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think, and then people complain that he loses the ball and stuff. But in his defense, he is the only one really willing to take on players with the ball. So obviously, you're not going to get past them every time. And it just felt like it reminded me of like some of the Coutinho era times where we gave the ball to him and we were like, okay, let's see what you can do, make something happen. And obviously, it's going to look either great or it's going to look, you just go into three guys. What are you doing over there? You lose the ball. So have we relied on him to create too much and then kind of blamed him when he lost the ball, whereas he was the only one taking the ball?
Yeah, I get where that's coming from, but I'm also kind of looking at it as a group, right? As our attacking unit as a group. So let's say there are no additions next year, right? So it seems that we're gonna be sticking, Gakpo towards the left. So we got Darwin Nunez leading the line. We're gonna ride Nunez. I don't think Diaz and Nunez playing together is a good thing, because there's just too much shit going on. There's just too much randomness going on where it becomes detrimental to the attacking play. And I said a month ago in the show that I would sell Nunez if we were given the right fee. So, and the same applies to Diaz. Like, I feel like you can only keep one of those in and play one of those guys at any given time, because I feel like Arne has more structure.
Get in there.
All right, that's good. I feel like he has more structure in terms of his style of play compared to Klopp, and he would prioritize composure over randomness. And I wouldn't say desire, because everyone loves desire, but you guys get where I'm coming from, where he likes that kind of player. I feel like that would think more than do, and having two doers more than thinkers, like having a Nunez and a Diaz on the field at the same time, is a big no-no, which is why I put Gakpo over him. And it looks like we're going to be riding Nunez over the next year. So, yeah. And there's also this part of me where I mentioned Diaz's age, 27 turning 28. I feel like this is him. I feel like this is the finished product. I feel like if there is any improvement, it's going to be supremely minimal. So I might as well put my chips in towards a Gakpo who has probably 2-3 years left in his developmental, process, to maybe turn him into that ideal winger in Arne's system, if that makes sense.
I mean, yeah,